Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk?
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Scott Z. Matayoshi. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
You can stay seated. Glad these mics are adjustable. So, good morning, everyone. As a lot of you know, I used to be a 7th grade science teacher out in Nanakuli before becoming a member of this body. And I just wanted to tell you a story about that I think about a lot when I'm here. So as a 7th grade science teacher and one of the younger teachers, I was voluntold to be a chaperone at one of the many awkward student dances. So at one of these was down in Waikiki. So we all loaded onto the bus from Nanakuli to Waikiki, pretty long drive. And one of the kids, or one of my students, asked me, are we gonna go by Waikiki Beach? And I told him, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it depends on which way we go. I'm just not sure, but get on the bus, we're holding things up. So we get on the bus, we drive over there, awkward dance, as awkward as you can imagine. And he comes up to me during the dance and he asks me again, he says, Mister, are we gonna go, do you know if we're gonna go by Waikiki Beach? And I told him, I have no idea. I just assumed he wanted to look at the waves, wanted to, these kids, sometimes their minds are always on the beach, not on school. So I told him, I'll ask the bus driver, come ask me later. So we're loading the bus back up, and he asked me again, Mister, are we gonna go by Waikiki Beach? And I finally stopped and I said, why do you want to go by Waikiki Beach so badly? And he told me his dad was homeless and living on Waikiki Beach, and he wanted to try to find him as we drove by to shout at him to come back home. And so often in this building, we're asked to say yes and no to certain questions. We're asked to vote up and down on certain bills. There's no real middle ground. But we need to stop and ask why. And it might reveal some part of the story that we're missing. It might not turn out to be an answer we like or even understand, but I really feel like an important part of our job when we're having discussions with the public, when we're having discussions with colleagues or stakeholders, that instead of just telling them a quick yes or no, that we take the time to ask why they're asking that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Matayoshi. Move on to item 1. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ayu, Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin, Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Gates, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt, Ms. Hussey Burdick, Ms. Ichiyama, Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella, Mr. Kila, Ms. Kitagawa,
Excuse.
Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosao, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Ms. Martinez, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Mizuno,
Excuse.
Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poe, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Saiki, Mr. Sayama, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takeyama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 49 members are present, 2 are excused.
Thank you. Item 2, reading of the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of a communication returning House Bill number 1514, House Draft 1, Senate Draft 1, having passed 3rd reading in the Senate.
Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to agree to the amendments made by the Senate to the House Bill number 1514 HD1.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussions? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, this measure will appear on Monday's order of the day for final reading. Members, are there any introductions? Representative Tam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today, we have our good friend from HSTA, Mitzi Higa. Please rise and be recognized, and welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Quinlan. Representative Quinlan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You really do have an eagle eye up there. Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have some fifth grade students from Laie Elementary, and they're here to participate in the We the People program at the Judiciary. So can we please give them a warm round of applause? Welcome to your House of Representatives, Laie Elementary. And Mr. Speaker, I have a list of all the names of the students and their teachers, and may I please enter them into the journal.
So ordered.
Thank you very much.
Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery, we have Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke and her staff. Please rise. Lieutenant Governor Luke, besides harassing our speaker at every public event, is chairing this year's State Employees Food Drive to support the Hawaii Food Bank and communities across the state. The food bank kicks off tonight at UH's baseball, softball, and men's volleyball games. Fans are encouraged to support by contributing canned foods or donations. Since 1999, state employees have contributed over $3 million and 1.7 million pounds of food. We look forward to working together as state employees and within the legislature to continue uplifting our communities and eliminating food security in Hawaii. Welcome, all of you, to your House of Representatives.
Representative Lamasau.
Mr. Speaker, we have a very important guest here in the gallery. I'd like to introduce my son, CJ. CJ, if you can stand. Welcome to your House of Representatives. Thank you.
Representative Keela.
Mr. Speaker, if I can follow up with that, CJ, can you remain standing? Mr. Speaker, CJ also just received a 3.9 GPA for the second quarter at St. Joseph's Parish School and spending today with us to honor that recognition. Great job, CJ. Keep up the good work.
Representative Peruso.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have a number of community members from across the Pai'aina here to help us celebrate and recognize our honorees, and I'm going to briefly read their names so that they can be entered into the journal. Kaukahulani Morton, Clement Paishan, Daniela Clement, Miley Noneza, Tanya Lee Gregg, Mansa Ing, Zane Fazvi, I'm not sure about that, sorry, and Kahale Unciano, Jose Haas, Alian Irvine, Brenda Asuncion, Miley Noneza, Clay Meyer, Adam Wason, Stacy Lau, Roger Schmidt, and other haumana of Uncle Francis. Mahalo.
Representative Ward.
Mr. Speaker, we have one of the best and brightest from the country of Hungary in the gallery. He is my intern. His name is Mark Tutetsu. Mark, please rise and be welcomed by the House of Representatives. And with him and filming him is my office manager, Jillian Anderson. Jillian, welcome.
Representative Tarnas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've got to say welcome to the House of Representatives to one of our former colleagues, Mike White. Stand up, Mike. Welcome.
Representative Yamashita.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the audience today, joining us from Maui is Kaeo Ornelas from the Office of Economic Development and Farmers from the Kula Egg Park. Would you all-
Members, any further introductions? Let's move on to item 5.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Matayoshi.
Sorry, I have one more introduction to make. Asia, one of the interns from my office, interning in my office from UH West Oahu. Asia, welcome to your House of Representatives.
Moving on to item 5, floor presentations. Mr. Clerk, are there any floor presentations?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have 2 floor presentations today. The first being House Resolution number 91, honoring Kumu Francis Palani Sinsensi for his contributions to the revitalization and perpetuation of Native Hawaiian hale building knowledge. This resolution is offered by Representatives Peruso and Poepoe.
Representative Peruso.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt the resolution.
Representative Poepoe.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the resolution be adopted. Any discussion? Representative Peruso.
Ike ia no kaloea, ike kuahu. The expert is recognized by the altar he builds. It is what one does and how well he does it that shows whether he is an expert in a particular area. It is my honor and privilege to be able to introduce our honoree, Native Hawaiian Master Builder Francis Palani Sinensi. Kumu Palani is from Hana on the island of Maui, and that is where he began his practice of traditional hale building and heiau restoration. In 1994, Kumu Palani was asked to construct a hale at Helemano Elementary School in Whitmore Village, and through that invitation, paired extensive research and inherent ancestral knowledge to revitalize the skilled practices of kukulu hale, traditional hale building, and uhahumu pohaku, masonry. Kumu Palani then formed a partnership with Koila Eade to build Kauhale o Hana and to create Holani Hana, a cultural park that has served as an important training space for the next generation of practitioners. Kumu Palani has created Kauhale in communities around the Pai'aina, like those at the Hana Cultural Center and Museum, Mohala Farms, and over 300 other hale. He has also led the restoration of Pi'ilane Hale Heiau in his hometown of Hana, Maui, and the largest heiau in the Pai'aina of Hawaii. Kumu Palani has led the development of the Indigenous Architecture Building Code, initiated a certification program for hale builders, and founded a school for hale building called Halau Hale Kuhi Kuhi, where over the past 3 decades, he trained a new generation of practitioners and dedicated his life to revitalizing Kukulu Hale. Kumu Palani and his wife, Ese Sinensi, are also co-recipients of the Malai Kini Public Service Award in 2016 and the 2022 National Heritage Fellowship awarded by the National Endowment for the Arts, the United States government's highest honor in the folk and traditional arts. The House of Representatives recognizes Kumu Francis Palani Sinensi for his expert work across the Pai'aina in traditional hale building, heiau, and local ia restoration and cultural revitalization. Please join me in honoring Kumu Palani.
Thank you. Members, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Representative Peruso, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. Mr. Clerk, is there another floor presentation?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, House Resolution number 92.
Represent. Go ahead.
Honoring cultural practitioner Troy Allen Kimi Onakane for his contributions to the revitalization and perpetuation of Native Hawaiian Uhau Humu Pohaku Hawaiian dry set masonry knowledge. This resolution is offered by Representative Martin.
Representative Martin?
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt the resolution.
Representative Matayoshi?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the resolution be adopted. Any discussion? Representative Martin.
Thank you, Speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce Troy Allen Kimionakane from Waimanalo, who is a practitioner and teacher of Uhau Humu Pohaku, a dry set traditional masonry. This practice started as a volunteer with the Waimanalo Limuhui with the restoration of Pahonu, the only native Hawaiian turtle pond in the state, in an effort to restore not only that wahipana, or historic cultural place, but also the native limu and fish habitat it supports. He subsequently used those skills, which incidentally he learned under Kumu Palani, who we have just honored, to restore numerous other sites in the ocean and on dry land across the state, including collaborating with restoration of Koloko Honokohau National Historic Park on Hawaii Island, and even across the Pacific to Palau, to teach others across the globe through that work. In addition, Kimiona is the director of community outreach with 808 Cleanups, an environmental nonprofit organization committed to restoring Hawaii's natural beauty through cleanup of litter and vandalism and activities that protect indigenous ecosystems and promote sustainability. Kimiona is also the chair of the Waimanalo Neighborhood Board, a duty he performs with both passion and patience. Kimiona volunteers with numerous organizations and teaches many other types of groups about Hawaiian culture and to Malama Aina. With him today is his mother. Oh, and one more thing to mention, today is Kimiona's birthday. Also with him today is his mother, Auntie Sunday Ann Hussey, who is the most devoted volunteer with 808 Cleanups, working alongside Kimiona across the island and on other islands. She can be seen in my community and perhaps in yours, collecting trash, changing trash bags at public parks and bus stops, while wearing her orange 808 Cleanup shirt and hat and towing her trusted wagon, Charlie. She also cares for Muliwai Olena, where she hosts national and international groups, as well as many other cherished places, both Mauka and Makai, where she removes invasive plants and trash and plants and cares for native plants. Thank you for being here today.
Members will be doing a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. The motion is carried. Representative Martin, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. The chair will call a recess to allow the members of the House to meet and congratulate the honorees. Members, recess. Will the House come to order? Item 6, introduction of resolutions. Mr. Clerk, are there any resolutions for action?
Mr. Speaker, there are no resolutions for action. May all others be referred to print.
So ordered. Item 7, members, are there any announcements? If there are no further announcements, the chair would like to remind members that today is the deadline for introducing substantive resolutions. Make sure you file your substantive resolutions with the Chief Clerk's office by 6 p.m. tonight. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move to keep the journal open until 6 o'clock p.m. tonight for the purpose of receiving resolutions for introduction.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House stand in recess until 12 o'clock noon Monday.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands in recess until 12 noon Monday. Recess.